Hey guys, in this episode I'm going to show you the iPhone apps every photographer should have. Hey guys, welcome to Kelvin Designs. My name is Kelvin and I design, and that's why it's called Kelvin Designs. Click down here to subscribe to my YouTube channel and get all these episodes as they come out, and click up here to get the source files for this episode and every other tutorial that I do for free. In this episode I'm going to show you the most important apps that every photographer should have on their iPhone. Most of these applications actually exist on Android as well, but for this case we're actually just going to use it on the iPhone. So let me show you. The first one that I use is actually called Soul. Alright, so I'm going to open it up, and it basically shows you, if I go to day, right now it's 1:17, and if I go to hit the next button over here, it shows me that this is the afternoon, and then the golden hour today starts at 4:13. It's very important because if you want to shoot for sunset or sunrise, it's good to know when that starts. And if you do want to shoot golden hour, give yourself at least a good 20 minutes before, 20 to 30 minutes before you want to shoot, because sometimes you have, buildings or hills, and you want to do a little location scouting before you get to the spot. So in this case, 4:13 is golden hour here today. And if I hit next, I can see civil dusk, and then nautical dusk, and then astronomical dusk, etc. And I know that's full dark by 6:30 p.m. So it's a very useful app. I use this all the time, and you can also say based on different destinations. So if I'm going to go travel, and next week I'm going to go to Zurich, for example, I want to get a sunrise photo. Well, at what time is that going to be in Zurich? So it's very useful. All right, so that's the first one. The second one that I use is called Sunseeker. Now Sunseeker, if you hit the, so this is what it looks like, and it tells you basically where the sun is at all times. And there's a 3D view, which is really handy. And if I follow along here, I'm going to go all the way around here. All right, the sun is behind the trees up here. And I'm going to see that for sunset tonight, behind this hill, it's going to be around 3:30. And it gives me a 3D view of that. Extremely handy. So I use this all the time, and it's perfect for planning your shoot. Okay, and I'm going to show you now the flow that I actually do when I usually shoot with my iPhone. And I start with Camera Plus. All right. Now it's very important. The first time you do this, there's a little plus button next to the capture button. So hit that and make sure that the RAW is enabled. So you want to capture in RAW if your phone does support it, which this phone does. Okay. So once that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and there we go. I'm going to position my phone like so. And I like shooting with the button here, so I don't have to tap my screen. But if I want to lighten him up, I click here and I bring it up or down. And that does, it changes the exposure. So I kind of like that. I don't want it too bright behind there, actually. Okay, something like this, and click, and I have that photo. All right, next thing you do is you click on this little daisy, which is your light box, essentially. And let's see, I have this photo, which I like. Okay, good. Next thing I'm going to do is do the raw adjust button. Click on that, and you can do a little bit of adjustments in raw in this, which I recommend. I don't mind doing that. I go to the highlights here. I'm going to bring them down a little bit, open up my shadows a bit. But honestly, it's a little limited what you can do here. So what I recommend is you just hit the little share button at the top right here, and you export the raw DNG. All right. The adjustments actually will not be saved, so don't waste your time doing it in here. Okay. Next thing you do is you open up Lightroom CC mobile, which is unfortunately only available if you're subscribed to the Creative Cloud, which I highly recommend, but you can't just buy the application by itself. So if you have an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, this will work. Just download it to your phone. All right, here, when I open up in Lightroom, you go to all your photos, okay? And you'll see that this top left one here has a little DNG, which means it's the raw file that I just shot. So I click on that, and in here, the first things that I do is usually lights. So I go in here and I bring down my highlights, open up my shadows, especially because it was kind of in the shade here, quite a bit, and my blacks maybe a little, you can play around with that. Exposure maybe a tiny bit more. Since I brought down my highlights so much, I can actually expose a little more. So that's actually pretty cool like that. All right, there's a few other things that I like to do. In the effects, I like to dehaze a little bit. I like adding some clarity when there's high frequency in the foreground, which is this case. I like to add a little vignette, which is nice. So I'm doing all these little adjustments. All right, so there's actually full tutorials on all of these apps and really good ones. But what I really want to show you here is my workflow, how I shoot and publish my photos using my phone. So yeah, get all the apps and then find tutorials if you have a hard time using them. But even just by exploring them, you'll actually find them very, very useful. All right, so I'm back in Lightroom, okay? And let's go in here, and I want to do a little selective. I want the background to be slightly blurrier. So I'm going to go here with my finger and, hit the add button with the brush, make it soft. Here, click on this. And I'm just adding a little bit in the background because I just want it slightly do a focus, sharpness focus on my subject. So once I have that selected, I go in here and I go to effects, lower my clarity a little bit, go to my detail and lower my sharpness a little bit, and immediately that high frequency that we have in the front is really jumping out, which is nice. Okay, once I'm done with this, and I could always add more stuff, but in this case I actually am happy with this. Hit the little check button, and now I'm going to hit the little share button at the top right and save to camera roll. And it says what do you want, different sizes. I always do maximum available, and it's rendering, and takes a little moment. So depending on how many adjustments you've made, it takes a little while. All right, so now it's saved into my camera roll, and now here's what's cool. There's a lot of these other applications that I really use because I don't want to use the same effect everybody else is doing. I like to have a little bit of something new, and a lot of times I like to cross develop. All right, that means I'll use Lightroom CC, for the highlights and shadows and clarity and some of the selective masking and stuff, which I really like. I'll use Snapseed, for example, if there's like a trash can or something I want to get rid of really quickly. And again, there are full tutorials on each one of these apps, and some of them may be a little more than others. Snapseed is an incredibly powerful tool and app. And I'm not going to get into all the details in here, but what I wanted to say was a lot of these apps have really cool effects, and I like to sometimes just cross those effects a little bit. So in this case, for example, I want a little sun to come out through here, so I'm going to go into LD, lens distortion. I'm going to pick this photo that I exported to my camera roll, and I'm going to scroll down here where there's principal light hits, which I like. Not too crazy. I like this one here. All right, it adds it in here, and immediately it has this like really strong. It adds depth to this photo. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to bring the sun a little out of frame, just a little bit, and you can see here I'm rotating the effect. You can zoom in and out, but it really adds quite an effect. Granted, this is an effect-based application, so if you use this all the time, all your photos are going to look like they're just having this one effect. So just use it with moderation. Anyway, this definitely adds something. So I'm going to go and hit done, and I'm going to save image with the top right. It says image saved, hashtag lens distortions. All right, so now I have that saved in my camera roll, and then I'm going to probably just the last one I'm going to do. There's so many other applications that have different filters, like Mextures really adds cool textures and like grungy type effects in it, which I like. Filterstorm Neue, which is really cool, has you see they all have their own unique presets. In this case, I usually publish on Instagram, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Instagram, and here use the capture button and pick out this last photo. And it's suggesting the square mode, or let me check out the original. They're both kind of good, but honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the square mode, but I'm going to go ahead and use the original here. So next, and then I'm going to use another, maybe a Juno or the Ludwig. In this case, maybe Mayfair. Mayfair is pretty cool. I mean, it's effect upon effect upon effect, which can be nice, but sometimes a little too strong. Find the one that I like. I like the X Pro 2, actually. This looks like a commercial for a jacket or a watch or something, or the sunglasses, which I really like. All right, and then I hit next, and then you just post it on Instagram as you would with your caption and tags and so on. So that is my main flow line. I recommend check out all these apps, and they're all listed below the video. and you can see them on the page right here. And some are free and some cost a little bit. Honestly, don't be shy of spending a couple of bucks for some of these. They can really change your photography. So check it out and explore them. Spend some time playing around with them, and they will really change your iPhone photography. All right, guys, I hope this episode really helped you out. A lot of these apps that took a while to kind of get used to and play around with, but once you get used to them, they're super helpful. So if this helped you out, remember to like the video, leave a comment, and share it. It really helps me out. And I'll see you in the next episode.